We need emotional support, we need sympathy and empathy, we need caring, understanding, but don't confuse that for saying that it's okay to procrastinate and lie in. It's not okay. Good morning guys and welcome back to the vlog. The most common question that I get asked is how I remain so disciplined and so motivated even through times when it seems so difficult and you really want to quit or you don't want to do it. And the truth is I don't. I may give off the impression that I'm super disciplined, and that's certainly what I'm aspiring to do, but the reality of life is that I'm still battling my mind every single day to try and callous it and make it harder. But I'm still soft, I still moan, I still complain, and I still fall into bad habits. This morning it's 10 o'clock and I've only just got out of bed after being on my phone for 2 hours, and admitting that is really hard. It's a real sign of laziness and just a complete lack of structure, and it's not a very good reflection of me. And I know that. And I know that by sharing this, some people might be like, what the hell is wrong with you? How have you allowed yourself to just be scrolling on social media for 2 hours? And I've talked about this several times since coming back to uni and being back at home, about how I get into these good habits, I get into these disciplined ways of life. You know, I'm waking up at 6:30, 7 to go for a run. I'm doing a 4-hour bike ride when I don't want to. Yet other times I struggle to even do the basic things in life, such as waking up, having a shave, brushing my teeth, having breakfast, cracking on with the day. And sometimes I neglect those things, and it comes back to bite me in the arse because I feel absolutely terrible as a result mentally. And there's a constant mental battle between being hard and calloused and then being weak, lazy and feeble. And the fact that I'm trying to pursue one does not negate the fact that I have the other still very much present in my life. And it's very frustrating to admit that. I don't really care about what people think about me, but I suppose you could say it is embarrassing because I'm just not able to do the things that I should be able to do. So why am I posting it? Well, I wanted to keep this channel as real and authentic as I possibly could. And as much as there are people who clearly have their lives in order far more than I do, and there's probably people who have their lives far less in order than I do, it's still important to reflect on where we are and look at ourselves in the mirror and the accountability also extending to YouTube, and examining the ways in our life which we fall short from where we should be at. And it's not about surrounding yourself with comfort and people that are going to be like, oh, it's okay to have off days, oh, it's all right, you know, it's only natural, you're in a pandemic, it's all right. Those things only make you mentally weak and mentally soft. I need to actually be held accountable for my absolutely terrible choices and my lazy mind. I don't want to hear good things about what I've done this morning. I want to be challenged. I want to be hurt. I want my feelings hurt. I want people to offend me, because how am I ever going to face reality and actually improve if I don't have that negative feedback in my ear and then actually try and work on it? I don't understand how that's possible. And that's why I preach so much about surrounding yourself with your friends and your family who challenge you on things, who aren't afraid to take a stance against your opinion, who aren't afraid to call you out on negative habits or things you're doing to damage your life. You know, we're so quick to say, oh, it's okay, everyone can do whatever they want. And if anything goes wrong, people are so quick to offer their sort of unwavering emotional support. And I'm not saying we don't need that. We need emotional support. We need sympathy and empathy. We need caring, understanding, temperament and those kind of inputs in our life. But don't confuse that for saying that it's okay to procrastinate and lie in. It's not okay, because we do need to be held to objective standards which we work towards. Because if we live in a fluid life where it's okay to do these bad things and there's no consequences, then we're not going to get anywhere as a society, as a culture, as individuals. What I'm really trying to say is I'm putting this out here because I want to be challenged. I want to be constantly examining my own flaws, examining my own failures, getting to the root of the problems that I'm having in my life. Rather than hearing nice things about my bad habits and nice things about surface level things, I want to be challenged to my core. I want people to call me out for traits that I didn't even know I had. Toxic traits, bad habits, absolutely awful things that I might say. I want that to be my reality because I want to be constantly carving myself out and I want to be constantly improving. And improvement only comes from discomfort and hearing things you don't want to hear and doing things you don't want to do. And the thing is, some people do want to hear that constant praise and validation for absolutely doing nothing and want to be reassured that their value system and structure is correct. And as I was saying, don't get me wrong, there is a balance to be had between emotional support and people caring for you and on a personal level, but also being held accountable for your poor choices, which I'm trying to share now, I suppose. But I just feel like as a society and as a culture, we are leaning far too much towards the comfortable, safe space. And I strongly believe, and I believe this stronger every day, that if people aren't willing to seek discomfort and are constantly being reassured and validated and are constantly being told good things about their bad habits and be like, oh, it's okay, and being all mentally soft, that is actually having the opposite effect of what you want it to have, because someone needs to be able to combat their own inadequacy on their own and deal with themselves and look in the mirror and hold themselves accountable. And at the end of the day, you live in your own brain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can have all the emotional support you like, but if you aren't willing to heave yourself out of your situation and today take responsibility for your poor choices, you will never get anywhere in life. And that's a sad reality, but it's also a very empowering reality. It not only forces us to take responsibility for our poor choices and take that on board, and sometimes that's a very bitter pill to swallow. There's a Jordan Peterson quote which said, people don't like to burn off dead wood because often we're 95% dead wood, and it's really hard being told you're wrong or being challenged or being attacked for things that you do, things that you say, your lifestyle choices, your political views, all of those things. But those things are necessary for us to step back, realize that we're doing something wrong, have a perspective, and it's only in those moments where we can truly improve and truly actually work on those things. And I think people that are too wrapped up in sugarcoating things and too sheltered from the world will never improve to the same extent as people who just face reality for what it is. It can be really hurtful and it can be really damaging to look yourself in the mirror and fully understand all of your poor choices you're making in your life and all of the bad opinions you have and all of the things that you've done wrong. But it's also really empowering to realize that from today you have the absolute complete power to change that for the better. It's not only your responsibility, it's not only your fault, but it's also your choice to then make better decisions and make better choices in the future. And I completely agree with that. And the more people that I speak to, the more people I surround myself with, the more I live out my own experiences, the more I read into stoicism and I read people's biographies of people who have achieved immense, incredible physical and mental feats, the more I read all these things and just dive deep into it, the more my view is reinforced that at the end of the day, we need to take responsibility for our actions and not push that onto other people, because other people will never save you, only you can save yourself. But today's video is just going to be this, because the time is 10 o'clock and I've just let myself go, and I actually hate myself for it, and I have this absolute war in my mind constantly with procrastinating, feeling terrible about it, and then getting back on top of it. And I think I just need to go back to the roots to really understand what's wrong with my brain and how I can address that. And I'm not looking for any sympathy. I'm not looking for anyone to tell me that it's okay, because it's not okay. I shouldn't be this lazy and I shouldn't be this mentally weak. And I need to be told when I'm doing things wrong. So please hold me accountable when I'm doing things like this. I will greatly appreciate it, because the only way I can actually improve is from people telling me in a horrible as a way that I'm wrong, and then I can actually, in a healthy way, take that on board and use that as fuel and as motivation to then propel me into betterness and into being a better person and developing myself as a person. If you've heard singing, then Will's next door. He's a GSA student, so he's performing. But I'm probably going to end the video there. As I said, it's 10 o'clock. I did have some VO2 intervals planned for today and a long run. Depending on how it goes with revising, I might have to sack off both because I've got an exam tomorrow, and at the end of the day, my priority does need to be university work. And the frustrating thing is, I know that it's definitely possible to train 20 hours a week and study full time and get a first in a degree. I've seen people do it. I know that I'm capable of it, but the problem comes is that you have a triangle of three things. You have university, you have training, and you have procrastinating. And if you allow the procrastination to eat into the time, you have to sacrifice one of the two. And too many times I find myself sacrificing university, and I focus on my training and I value myself around training, and I allow myself to procrastinate, and then university suffers. I can't allow that to continue. I do want to do incredibly well at university. I really want to get first as much as I can. And there's no point in sacrificing it just to do a couple hours VO2 session, which I could easily do another day. So what I'm going to do is sack that off. I might do it tomorrow instead. If not, it's no biggie. At the end of the day, university comes before training. I'm considering deleting all social media for a while. And when I say a while, I mean a few weeks at the very least, and sort of trying to get back to the basics and sort of bring it down to the compound habits in my life so that I'm not reliant on this thing to get me through the day. I really hate it, honestly. As much as my phone has been a very empowering tool, allows me to communicate and connect with people, and all the positive aspects of a phone are fantastic. You know, you've got a camera on there, it's great. But our phone is also our worst enemy, and I know lots of people go on about it and the fact that it's both a good and a bad thing and it's how you use it. But I'm not immune to that, and clearly I'm allowing myself to be dragged in by the toxicity element of it and dragged in by the procrastinating element of it. And I think the wise thing for me to do, if I really want to be true to myself and really want to look myself long and hard in the mirror and address the problems at their core, isn't to keep plastering things on and trying to get validation online about my bad habits. It's time to delete, or not delete permanently, but it's time to just come off the apps, to be honest, because it's just wasting time. Because they're so integrated into life, it's difficult to then fully step away without losing communication. So I'm gonna have to work something out, but I'm pretty much just gonna come straight off it because there's too much bad on there. Anyway, I don't know how long I've edited this video to be, but we're on about 16 minutes of recording on the GoPro, so hopefully the video hasn't been that long and I've cut some things out. But that's the general gist. I thought I'd just be real with you, pick up the camera. If you can relate, then hopefully this will help you to look introspectively into your own life, look into your own accountability mirror, realise your own flaws in a healthy way and try and improve on them, as I'm trying to do. And if you're seeing this and you're pleased that I'm being real, you know, framing of this better be correct. I swear, if the framing of this is wrong, because I can't see the front-facing camera, if my head's awkwardly, I swear, I'll be so annoying. But yeah, I just thought I'd be real and share this on here because I'm so tired of people living fake lives and sharing just that perfection and sharing that discipline as if they don't have any mental struggles, as if they're completely perfect and immune from any kind of mental battle. And I think that's a perception you probably get from the outside, and on the inside people are always having these mental battles and mental wars and mental struggles. And the fact that I'm sharing it hopefully brings solace to those of you who also share in that pain and in that suffering, and hopefully together we can try and better ourselves from the ground up and start some good habits. But I'm going to end the video there. I don't know how long it's going to be in the end. Time to crack on with the university work. I won't be picking up the camera for the rest of the day. Thank you as always for watching. Hopefully at some point I'll jump back on with a normal style vlog, but until then, I'll catch you next time.